Hey guys, it's Dawn here, and this is going to be face mask. Let's talk about face mask part two. If you haven't seen part one, please watch that one first because I'm going to cover a lot of basics. And that was the video that I made back when they were still telling people to not wear face masks. And I came up with the question of why not? Why would you possibly tell people not to do that? And the reason is because they needed all the good face masks, surgical masks and N95s to go to the medical professionals. Well, that's all very fine and good. Let's send all that to them. I'm not being facetious at all, but still, the public still needs something because, yes, we will do social distancing, but some of us still have to work. Some of us are still essentials, and some of us still need to go to the grocery store and get groceries and get food or, toiletries and stuff. So when we are out, what should we do? And basically, they were saying, "Oh, you don't have to worry about it. Just wash your hands. Just wash your hands." That's not good enough, and it kind of pisses me off. It really pisses me off that the officials are doing this to us because it's just, well, my one huge pet peeve is misinformation, and misinformation that is coming from our highest sources is just ridiculous. I'm talking about the CDC, the Surgeon General, the all the heads of virology and all this stuff. And you talk their official word, and even like the county, the governor, all these people say don't wear face masks, just wash your hands, don't worry about it, just do social distancing. That is not realistic, and it just pisses me off. And then so their first reason why they are misleading the public is because one, they don't want people to panic. And apparently, if you tell people how, that they need to wear face masks all of a sudden here in the Western world, then everyone's going to panic. In Asia, they've been doing this forever. So, to them, it wouldn't cause panic. But to ask Westerners to wear face masks, oh my gosh, that's going to induce panic. There are, and I'm not just making this up, there are hospitals that have told their nurses and doctors that if they wear masks, they will be fired because they don't want the image panic, incite panic, which is ridiculous. Right now, there's actually a lot of medical workers that are butting heads with the people running the show because it's what is going on in real life is not matching up with what they want. And it's like what they want is more on a very general overall level and not on an individual level that we are living in. Okay, I gotta stop griping about this. I'll just keep going because it just pisses me off so much. So what should they, oh, what was I doing? Oh, so why are they telling us these lies? One, they don't want to induce riots. They don't want to create panic, okay? Two, they want all those masks to go to the medical professionals, which in itself tells you that masks work, right? And three, there was a third reason. Oh my gosh, and I've already forgotten the third reason. Okay, maybe I'll come back to me later, but there was a third reason why they were downplaying this. Or maybe they were just that dumb. I'm gonna say it because I'm pissed. All right, so what should they be doing instead? Oh, that's a third reason. Got it. Third reason is because they're saying that improper use of the mask can be even more dangerous than not having the mask itself. That's BS. Flat out BS. All of those are BS, okay? One, we won't panic and go crazy if you just tell us the truth and treat us as adults and give us the facts and give us the data. And, we need guidance. We don't need to be kept in the dark. And two, just telling people that the homemade masks and cloth masks are not that you shouldn't use them because there isn't enough data on them, or all this stuff. If you don't use it properly, then it can harm you more than it can help. Don't say that. Instead, okay, fine, say that, but then tell us what we can do then, okay? Tell us what we should do. How can we keep safe? What is the proper way to use these masks, how to create these masks, how to use these masks? There is an answer out there, and the answer isn't just don't worry about it, all right? Because we're worried. We are so worried. So I'm sorry, my anxiety level is just... Okay, so that's what I'm going to try and help people out with today, is talk about these masks in a little bit more detail. Let's see, where should I start? First off, let's keep in mind what a virus is, okay? A virus is not... Scientists can't even decide if they're alive or not, but it's basically just a package of genetic material, and they're saying when it's just a package of genetic material wrapped up in some lipids, fats, then it's not technically alive. It's more chemical. But when it gets into your system, what it does is it attaches. You've all seen the pictures of the coronavirus right now, this globular round thing with all these spikies on it, okay? The spikies on it, the proteins, that is a signature of a coronavirus. And those little proteins they spikies, and they go and attach to cells, our cells in our body. They hijack it. They use our cells' internal mechanisms to replicate itself. So it hijacks, it takes over, and it just keeps making more and more of itself. And it does this very efficiently. The problem with this virus is that it is very insidious. It's very sneaky. It is... you can spread it without being symptomatic, or even without even feeling sick, and you could be spreading it. So many carriers out there, and you can't tell who's a carrier, who's not, and you wouldn't even know it yourself. So that's one of the biggest strengths and dangers of this virus. And then the second one is, how quickly is it mutating? The official word on this is very quiet, but if you watch, what first they're saying, it's not that big a deal, but just in case, right? Now they're saying, it's a big deal. Then it's saying, everybody get in your houses and don't come out. And now they're saying, and then they say, just wash your hands, that's fine. And then they're saying, no, everybody should wear face masks now. And now they're saying, wear face masks. Everyone needs to wear face masks, even if it's a bandana. Wear face masks. You have to cover your faces. Okay, so yeah. How long is this going to last for? I think it's going to last for a long time. Even if you look, we have never been able to conquer the common cold or the seasonal flus. Now, seasonal flu envelops, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of varieties of flus, right? And the cold is the same way, because there's all these strains, there's all these mutations, there's so many out there, we can't even combat that. So if we can't even combat those, which has been a regular part of our lives for so long, what are our chances of being able to actually eradicate this, which is a highly, this guy's big. This is a big respiratory virus that is wreaking havoc on our whole entire existence, right? So that's where I wonder, and it's probably, we're not looking at months, we're looking at years. How long is it going to take for them to even be able to make a vaccine? Years. because you gotta actually figure it out, and then you gotta make it, and then you gotta do trials and all this stuff. So we're talking about years. And even if they can get a handle on it and they can make a vaccine, there are a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of our population that the vaccine will not work for. If they're immunocompromised, if their system cannot handle vaccines, they physically can't get vaccinated, things like that. Those people can't be vaccinated. So there's our, our weakness right there. So, I mean, I guess my message is expect this to go on for quite a while. Some version of this will probably become our social norm, which means that face masks will probably become our social norm here in the West, just like it already has been in the East, okay? And don't... Oh, and I love how they say there isn't enough data. The data is out there, and people are actually pulling this up. The East, all the, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, all the countries that are using masks, compare their numbers to the Western countries that are not using masks. There's some real life data right there, okay? So I'm telling you, if you don't want to look up the data, I'm telling you, wear your mask. Why? Why should you wear your mask? The virus is so tiny. Even with the N95 mask, that can only filter 95. That's why N95. 95% of the particles. So a homemade cloth face mask can't do it. Well, there's two different things going on here. One is the size of the virus. Yes, the size of the virus is very, very tiny. Yes, it can go through this easily, okay? Even with all of these layers, probably can still go right through, like as if those holes were this big, okay? And the virus is this big. Maybe so, but there's another factor. Those viruses are being held by droplets, okay? There are large droplets and small droplets. Then each droplet is going to have a certain number of viral particles in it. So maybe a small droplet only has 5 viral particles in it. Maybe a larger droplet has 10,000 viral particles in it, okay? If this can stop the large droplet with 10,000 viral particles in there, but it doesn't stop the smallest droplet that has 5 particles in it, is that not still helping? Okay, so that's my point, is that, and is it hurting? Is it hurting anybody? But is there a big possibility that it can help? Especially when it has been proven, the whole cloud of droplets, and droplets, when you sneeze, can travel up to 27 feet. When you cough, oh, I don't have the other numbers in front of me right now, but it's all in my first video, okay? So it's the droplets that we can do something about. So let's do something about the droplets. Now they're saying, okay, maybe only the sick people wear them. We don't know. We don't know who's sick or not. Many times, and that was the biggest problem, why it's all over the place, because there's a whole bunch of people that did not feel sick or asymptomatic, and so they're out there spreading it. If they were wearing their masks, what happens is, as I'm speaking, I am spewing out droplets. Okay, I know, gross. Everyone take a step back. But I'm spewing out droplets, all right? So if I put a mask on, it's a physical barrier, and this is, the droplets are not, they're going to get contained in here. If this is absorbent, then it'll be absorbed and locked into place. And then if it's repellent, then it'll repel. Waterproofing repellent. Cloth absorbent. Okay, so those are 2 other factors. All right, so them saying that face masks are not effective, that is complete BS. Now, there are studies out there, and they have done studies on 2-layer face masks. Okay, and that's now let's start looking at the nitty-gritty and the details. All right, 2 layers of cotton. This is 1 layer, and this is 2 layers, right? 2 layers of cotton, not very effective, all right? And I said this in my first video. Agreed. This is probably only going to stop the largest droplets, right? But that's still something. So it's still better than nothing. And the problem is you only got 1 layer. So if droplets are spewing from the outside, then okay, the droplet has completely soaked this layer, and this layer is right up next to it, and then your lips are right up next to it, and then you lick your lips, right? So 2 layers, yes, I agree, that's a problem. But what if you had 4 layers? It's looking better. And remember, every layer, because fabric doesn't just lay completely neatly as a grid. Fabric is interwoven and laced, and it's like a maze. So the more layers, the more lacing, and the more it's going to be difficult for things to travel through. Plus, if you soak through the first 2 layers, you still got another 2 layers. That's good. So here is a mask, and this is a much thicker material, and it's pleated. So the pleats are also going to help. Now the pleats have to go downwards. I actually have seen people wearing masks with the pleats going upwards. You don't want a cup to be catching particles falling, because droplets do fall, okay? They have a falling action, and then that's why at first they were saying, well, droplets fall, so it's not going to remain in the air. And now they're saying, oh yeah, I can remain in the air up to 3 hours and blah blah. So who knows? But it's going to have a falling action to it, so you don't want a cup. You want the pleats to go downwards. So that's something. 4 layers. This is 5 layers actually. I have an outer layer, which is this one is a thick cloth. And then I like this pocket system. So here is one side of the pocket, and this is 1 sheet folded in half and sewn across the top. And way up top in here, this is the second sheet, okay? Another 2 layers here. 2 layers tucked in, 2 layers tucked in, and then your outer layer. That's 5 layers. And it has the pocket. And the pocket is designed for an additional filter. This is a shop towel that is folded into quarters, okay? And I can actually stuff this right in here. Sorry, you're not going to be able to see me stuff this, but these pocket layers that I have is more robust than the original design, because the original design had the pocket layers to be a lot shorter, and that created a 3-layer mask. And I wanted to have a 5-layer mask, so I made the pockets more robust. But basically, this is now with the cloth stuffed in there. Do you see my cloth? Okay. So I'm doing it real messy right now, but you get the picture. So now it's 5 layers of cloth plus 4 layers of shop towel. Now, talking about different kinds of filters. What kind of filters are options right now? Look into HEPA filters. There are HEPA filters that that are made to filter out viruses. Look into those, like Filtrete. They're purple and they're dark navy blue. Those level filters will filter out viral particles, okay? You can get those. Now, they are asking for those to be reserved for healthcare workers because that's how low they've come. Is they've been burning through the N95s, they've been burning through the surgical masks. Now they're going into, okay, we need homemade masks, we need filters, you know, and they're starting to pull that stock. So save that for the medical professionals, which is why I'm looking at other things now. Vacuum bags, actual vacuum bags, they have types that are HEPA, that can filter viruses. Those ones I'm saving for the healthcare professionals, but there are lower grade ones that maybe they only filter out to 1 micron. The N95s can filter down to 0.3 microns. So this is 1 micron, which is very large, but still it's better than nothing, right? And also, oh, I can't even think of it. The Swiffer dusters with all the mesh, those things easy to cut up and stick in here. So get creative. Anything is better than nothing. So if I add a five layer cloth mask, add filters, whatever filters I can figure to stuff into here, right? Then that is certainly better than nothing, okay? 2-layer mask, junk. Somebody was recommending these. These are SA masks. They're meant to go around your neck, and then you can pull this up to go over, okay? This is so thin. Can you actually see me? You can see me. I think you can see me through here. You can see through this, all right? You can see through it. It's so thin, and even if I did 2 layers, I don't know. I would not recommend this. A bandana. What about a bandana? You know what? The bandana is actually not bad. The material itself, 1 layer, is not as good as 1 layer of really tightly woven, high thread count bed sheet sort of thing, right? This is not as tightly woven as that, but it's still better than nothing. Fold it into a triangle. Now it's 2 layers. Fold it again. Now this will cover my mouth and my nose, and it is 4 layers. It covers all the way around. And if you want to, you can tuck this into this pocket as well, okay? If you want to use that, or if you want to leave it down. Now that I have, this is now 4 layers, all right? 4 layers, and then I can also tuck this filter. I'm just doing it all messy right now. Tuck this filter right up into this pocket that I just created, right? And then tie this on. That's now, I just added an extra 4 layers. That's now 8 layers over my nose and mouth, all right? So the bandana can actually be extremely useful, and I actually like the bandana a lot because when you're done with it, you can open it all up very carefully. Remember, after it's been used, it needs to be treated as a biohazard, okay? Only hold it by its tippy tails and dump it into a stainless steel container or straight into your laundry or whatever, right? But treat it as a biohazard. But I like that it opens right up, and then it's very easily cleaned, and I'm confident in the cleanliness in this. It doesn't have all these little crooks and crannies that things could possibly get stuck in and hide. I don't know, all right? But that is a thought. Nose wire, okay? This is just a plastic wrapped wire that was used as a twist tie, just from packaging. It's leftover. It's the stuff that's trash that I keep because I'm thinking, oh, maybe I could use that for something. Well, this one is now getting used, and I'm making the nose wire out of them, and I have pipe cleaners coming. Pipe cleaners are much more highly recommended, and I have ordered them and they're coming. So as soon as I get those, then I'll be using pipe cleaners. But that's to make it so that you have a wire for the nose, and you can add this into this. Remember how we created the pocket? You can create the pocket, tuck this wire up in there, tuck your filter up in there, and you can still get that form fitting, all right? So what makes a mask effective? Ideally it can filter out as much as possible, and it can have a very tight fit. So here is where your nose wire is going to be, and I made an open channel here so that way I can take the nose wire out for when I am going to wash it. This looks like, and I'm going to adjust this pattern, but this looks like this, but it's tight all around my bone, okay? You see how tight that is? So that's just a little extra. I can't talk in this. Another thing, be wary of your airflow. If you are around someone, they just sneezed or whatever, do not just go, if someone just sneezed, remember to imagine their droplets flying around and swirling the whole droplet cloud. Hold your breath for as long as possible. Put your head down, close your eyes, do little tiny shallow breaths. Remember, be aware of your airflow, even in these masks, okay? Don't be trying to suck the whole world in through the mask. This can't take that kind of filtration. Do little shallow breaths. I know this, it's just something to keep in mind. You don't have to do this, right? But little shallow breaths, remember, is not going to draw the whole world into you. Okay, big breaths is going to draw things straight into your lungs. Fill up your lungs. You don't want to fill up your lungs, okay? And then when you get home, when you get into the car, whatever, then you can take your big breaths, all right? Ties can be more accurate, better fitting, more customizable than elastic. Elastic breaks down. Keep that in mind. There are seamstresses out there of all different levels. These homemade masks, be careful, all right? Know who you are getting them from. You don't want to be getting a mask from Typhoid Mary, all right? Remember Typhoid Mary, Mary Mallon? She ran around completely not caring that she was an asymptomatic carrier and gave everybody typhoid, and she just kept doing it and kept doing it, and she was never sick, and people kept telling her, hey, you're a carrier. She didn't care. She's just going around just spreading the sickness everywhere. Don't be a Typhoid Mary, all right? And don't buy a mask from a Typhoid Mary. How are you going to know? You don't know. So that's why, be careful. Make the mask yourselves, or get it from a good friend, someone you know, or someone who's been buying from this person and they haven't been getting sick, so maybe. Be careful of Typhoid Mary. Make sure that if it's a pleated one, the pleats are going down, that they're made correctly. Lots of different skill level of seamstresses out there. Some seamstresses are using pins. It's very common when we have a pattern, a template, that they pin it into place and then they cut, right? Well, when you pin, you're making a pin-sized hole. A pin-sized hole is like this to a virus. Okay, no pins. You use wonder clips instead. Wonder clips are awesome and amazing, work very well, and they don't punch holes. I love YouTube videos showing a HEPA filter, and they're going to make a mask out of a HEPA filter, which is ranked to filter out the tiniest particles, and they're sticking pins all over it. And I'm like, bandanas can be good. Don't trust 2 layers. All right, so I think that was everything that I wanted to cover. Some side notes. You can tell how well your mask is working and how good of a seal you have around. When you breathe in, then instead of feeling all the air coming out from the edges, you have this suck into your mouth. It feels horrible. It makes me claustrophobic. I am having a very hard time with this, okay? But then you know that your seal is good. And then you have to weigh between having a good seal and being able to breathe and the filtration and stuff like that, and just blocking droplets, all right? These are all factors that you decide what risk level that you are comfortable with. Let's see. Oh, some quick notes about this is this one, if you notice, this one is for me, and I might make this a little bit longer. You saw how it kind of just, jutted out right there. So I may make it a little bit longer so that it comes down my neck a little bit. This one does not fit Andy, and Andy's much bigger than I am. So this one I had to make for Andy. And to show you the size difference, that's quite a big size difference, all right? But this one, I'm gonna wash it before I give it to him, but this is a huge size difference. But that's the great thing about these custom masks, is that you can, and it looks huge on me, but it actually fits him perfectly. So where you place your pleats, what that means, what that translates to, is how much it can expand. So if I have my pleats really even up here, it means that it can expand more up here. And then this one down here, it's not, so this one, it's not going to expand that much across the nose, which is fine. It's not going to expand that much down here on the chin, which is fine. All of the expansion is in the middle, and try to keep it as even as possible. So if you make one up here that is a little bit larger than the other one, you'll find that it's going to be tighter in that area, okay? If you put it on and you are noticing that there's air shooting out at the top, it could be that your nose wire needs to be longer. So especially with the Western people, have more of a bridge to their nose, so they may need a longer wire. So I may just make it standard to have the wire go across the entire thing, up to like from there to there, across the whole entire center, so that the wire can actually just mold around here and around your cheekbones, because I believe cheekbones vary from different people as well, and then that creates a better seal. So the more the wire, the better, probably, all right? Once again, I do like to have this channel open on one side, because if you're going to be washing this a lot, you don't really want to be washing wire. Plus, you can then replace the wire, and you can disinfect the wire, you can take the wire out. It's an option if you want to use the wire, etc. Because some people are some doctors are, they have their N95 mask, and they're using a cloth mask over it for extra protection. They are layering too, okay? the doctors are layering, so there's no reason why we can't layer too. Put this one on, put a bandana on over it. Who cares if you look silly at this point? I think we are beyond that. But if you want to layer, right? That's why I make the 5-layer mask, so that it makes it all a nicer, neater package, so that I don't feel like I have to just put a ton of stuff on. 5 layers is already built into it. What was I saying? I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Okay, so those were the things that I was looking for in my mask. Let's see if you can see how thick this is. This is nice and thick, but this is too much for me. This is still 5 layers. Okay, but it's not just 2-layer thick. If you ever get a chance, find 2 layers of cotton and look at it and feel it, and does that feel enough to you? Okay. Templates, I'm using the cereal box that comes with the Costco, so it's a thicker cardboard, and it works really well. 9x9 is the size for the larger mask. And in the YouTube video that I was following, they were using smaller sizes for the filters. I am actually using 9x9, and then also for the filters, okay, to make it a true 5-layer mask. All right. I like using a template because there is no pinning. I literally just shove this down, and then I use my rotary cutter and cut around it. There's no pinning or anything, and if I do happen to, then pin. Iron is your good friend to make things nice. Right now the templates I have that have been useful to me is 9x9, 9x11. I have a 9x12 somewhere. 9x6. 9x6 is giving me the smaller mass. And the smaller mass, this one actually would work fine on Dakota, who's going to be 6 years old soon. All right. It could be a little bit smaller for her, especially this could be a little bit slow, but this one will work fine. She'll just have plenty of material around her face. So 9x6 and 9x9s. All right. Let me know if there are any questions. Please be careful out there. I know there are a lot of people just buying homemade cloth masks out there. Cloth masks are not all created equal, all right? You gotta pay attention to how they're made, who's making it, what they're doing, what their process is, and all that. When you do get them, you do want to wash them and take care of if they have elastic, be careful of that breaking down. If they have a built-in wire in it, do you know if that's going to rust? So stuff like that. If there are any questions, go ahead and leave them for me in the comments below. Please stay safe. Don't believe everything that the officials are telling you. See if that makes sense, all right? But we definitely do need to take this seriously, and we need to do what we can to protect ourselves because they are not doing it for us. All right, so there you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.